Bop. All right, thanks for tuning in. We're going to do a Mistwoods update patch review notes. This is my first crack at patch review notes, so judge me if you will. I do want to do these patch notes review before I've looked at other people's review of the patch, just to see how my knowledge lines up. But anyway, I've committed myself to this, and it's quite a big patch, if you have not yet already seen. So this might be done in a few parts. But yeah, let's jump right into it. Mistwood. Mistwood includes a new hero known as Hoodwinked. You can see here. Yeah, so Hoodwinked. Kind of a cool squirrel. Got a crossbow. Obviously ranged. Nuclear, Disabler, Escape, and I believe an Agi hero. I'm not going to go into this whole bit, but here we can see kind of a cool little run animation she's got. Yeah. So looking at her skills, her first skill, almost kind of like a jumping cask shot. I imagine the shot itself actually takes her damage as well. I actually am going to go into the game and actually test this out, so why don't we do that? So let's check this out. It's been a while since we actually had a new hero. I think it's been almost a year since Snapfire and Void came out.
Oh, wow.
So
I've never seen so many interesting people to kill in one place.
oh my god, it's a psycho squirrel. Okay, so Acorn Shot. Let's see what this does. Attacks with an acorn. We kind of saw it already where it bounces around. Bonus attack range. So what is her attack range? Okay.
Like I haven't seen that before.
She's so sarcastic. I like that attack animation actually. There's a slight delay in actually like getting the shot off, but once it's out, it's out. But so this is funny for me. So legacy keys. I'm gonna have to set my brain to remember a whole new set of legacy keys. So it's on a 14-second cooldown, 16-second cooldown, scaling down to 10. It has a little bit bonus range and bonus damage, and the more you level it up, the more bounces it's got. It also does a slight slow. It only lasts 0.25 seconds, but a full 100% movement slow, which will be probably pretty noticeable. Slightly. And I do think it'll actually carry her her attack. So let's see this. Is this gonna... Yes. Well, that's interesting. It does carry her her shot as well. So getting items with orb effects on them will be pretty good. Now, is it per bounce? Our best way to test this will actually be to give ourselves a dummy target. So what we're looking for is to see if this Chain Lightning will proc more than once off of one shot. Hold on. That was just my own attack. So that one procced. Yeah, so it has a chance to proc on each one. So give yourself a... give yourself a MKB, and this should actually be really strong.
Does that monkey guy know that stuff? Always a secret hint.
So interesting enough, if you targeted it, it just does the bouncing back and forth. But if you miss, like I just did there, and click off somewhere, it creates a tree. That's pretty cool. So not only a cool attacking skill, but also a way to escape, running through some trees, pop that down there to kind of block yourself in, or even to shield vision, right? Pretty sweet skill. Okay, second one, Bushwhack. So tosses a net trap that stuns enemy heroes if they are near a tree. Affected, pull the tree towards them and have their vision reduced to 0 for the duration of the stun. Notice how these trees actually last quite a while too. So this is area effect. What is this gonna do?
It's more for fun than sport.
Let's see.
I'm always on the right trail.
So it pulls them to it, and then they're stunned and they have no vision. And it can go up to 2.2 seconds when fully scaled, and it does quite a bit of damage too, 360 once full scaled. Mana does increase as you go, 14-second cooldown. Kinda cool, kinda cool. Scurry is a passive, I believe. No, it actually has charges. So passively has a chance to evade physical targets when near a tree. When activated, she can gain bonus movement speed, phase collision, and tree walking. Okay, so you activate it in order to start walking through trees. This is R key. How long does it last? Oh, I got stuck in trees. Cooldown is... what is that? Let's say the cooldown. Or am I blind? No, restore charges. So actually, the more you level it up, the quicker it restores its charges, up to 15 seconds. And it gives you bonus movement speed up to 40% when fully.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And it's also sort of like phase boots too. If you need to move through a bunch of units, it'll move you through the units as well. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. The evasion's nice. I mean, your evasion goes up to what? 32%? Like, that's pretty huge. EA's evasion is what? Slightly more, what, 40%? So, comparable. Quite comparable.
You couldn't stop me.
Cool. Cool hero. Let's get ourselves up to level 6. Oops, that was fully maxed. So, her ultimate, Sharpshooter, says pure damage. Hoodwink charges up and fires a deadly bolt from her crossbow, dealing heavy damage, slow, and break. Max damage and debuff scales up to max, so you have to charge it up for 3 seconds. And automatically fires after 5 seconds. Wind up time is 2.25, so there is a delay, so it's not instant, I take it. Wow, that thing is huge amount of damage. 600 at level 1000, level 2, and then 1400 at level 3. What's the fastest I can actually let this thing off? Was it you charge it, and then you press it again when you want it to go. Oh, you can shoot it right away. But shooting it right away only does very little damage. Oh, that's cool. So it only hits heroes, doesn't hit creeps. So you can shoot it through creeps. It gives you vision where you're actually aiming to. You see this? Look. So good. And I think that vision is unobstructed too. Yeah, you can look through trees with this thing. That is nuts. Cool. Very, very cool. Cooldown. 45-second cooldown on it too. Only 150 mana. That's cool. That's a cool ultimate. I like that. It's going to be, I don't know, I think people are going to think it's quite broken. The damage is quite high, if you ask me. 600 for, I mean, it's not, it's a bit of a skill shot, right? Like, you see the amount of time it actually takes for it to go off. Like, that's a skill shot. That's like a Marana arrow. Slightly fast, well, no, quite a bit faster than Marana arrow, but you got to kind of target it in the same way. Can you cancel it? No. Once you got going on, you're firing. But that's cool. That's really, really cool. I actually really like that ulti. Overall impressions, cool hero. Mostly support, but I mean, I think she definitely has some carry potential. I don't think she's gonna be as late game and hard carry as, you know, your anti-mages, your Faceless Voids, your Terrorblades. But a better sniper? Like, I don't know, I just... seems to have so much more utility than sniper. With kind of the same niche. Like, her attack range is quite... not that far. Yeah, like, her attack range is... like, almost Vengeful Spirit short. But cool. Very cool hero. I like it. I like it a lot. Items that I think would be good on her. So like I said,
It's how I
this
live.
C skill,
Just doing my power.
her Acorn Shot, the fact that it's carrying additional damage.
Oh, Susset, that'll knock your noggin.
Any sort of attack modifier on her will be good. Maelstrom, MKB, stuns even? I don't know. Stuns are not... This will be interesting. It's probably going to take her range stun, I take it.
Abyssal Black you. Just follow my tail.
Doesn't look like it's stunning, though.
Justice says. Time to kill something?
Yeah, that doesn't look like it's actually stunning. I mean, it's only going to be 10%, right? For ranged heroes? Assuming it'll actually proc. Doesn't look like it's proccing, though.
Yeah, I see it.
I mean, it's... Oh, that one's stunned. There we go. Did you see how unlucky that was? Until it finally worked? Yeah, it's definitely 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely 10%. I mean, and it stuns anyway? No, it just slows. Yeah. I mean, I don't think the stun on it's that great, but something to consider. I don't know. What else? What other items would work well? There are some new items. I don't know what they do yet, but we'll get into that. So just going off of the items we already know. I mean, getting her some extra range, not a bad thing. Then her damage, her attack is pretty good. Like, what's her agi gain? 3.6 per level is quite good. Like, so her right click's going to be quite strong. So even just getting her some agi items. Things like Yasha to be able to move, because she gets a nice move buff from this skill. So to stack that up, stacking that up with the movement items will work pretty well too. But it'll be interesting to see what people come up with, what combos, what spell combos, what item combos will come up with. Yeah, looks like they already got a default guide going. So Mjolnir, Yasha, Lincoln Sphere. See, they you kind of want her to have some utility for sure. Eye of Skadi is kind of interesting.
What? This way?
Yeah. Okay, so that's the new hero, Hoodwinked.
Yep.
Be good to see her play. I mean, someone made an interesting point on Discord that it's going to be hard to play her in games because two of the same picks around are going to be canceling each other out. So everyone's going to try and first pick her, but then it's always going to get canceled out because someone on the other team is going to do the same. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. If people are actually going to end up being able to play this hero if everyone's constantly trying to pick them. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to jump right away to the patch notes. And I'm actually going to do the items first before I do the heroes, because I mean, there's so many changes. This is going to take a while. I'm going to do the items first, and I might even end up doing this as a two-parter, because there's just so much to get through. So I'll do items first and then heroes. I think getting the items down first would be good because I don't know, what's more significant? The hero changes I think are more significant just by a quick glance of this, and being able to know how the items have changed first as kind of a base layer kind of help in my assessment with the hero changes. So we'll see. We'll go with that. Hello. Hey, Robin and Dab. Playing League of Legends? No, I'm not. Haha. I got the world record on Browse Big Bean Burrito. Cool. Anyway, okay, item changes. So we've got some new items that they've got, base items. Fluffy hat. So 250 gold and it grants 125 health. Alright. Would I buy this as a first item? I mean, we'll see what it builds into, but hard for me to imagine I would spend money on a base health rather than just getting health regen. I think for 250 gold, you can get a lot more out of health regen for the early game. Obviously, that might change with what you're going forward with. in terms of how you're building into that item or what you're using to build other items into. Falcon Blade requires fluffy hat. Sanjiash. So okay, so this is the first item that needs it. Didn't they used to have patch notes where it actually showed what it built into? Guess not. Requires fluffy hat, Sanj mask, blades of attack, and a recipe. Doesn't even tell you how much total gold it is. I'm not a fan of these patch notes. First up. Okay, so I don't know. What is that going to total cost? Is there actually better? Let me just check this.
Don't even think about it.
See if I can actually. I'm just going to see what the patch notes look like in the actual game client. See if they're a little better. They look like to be the exact same. Anyway, so I can just look at the item here. So Falcon Blade. Okay, so total cost 1,100 gold. Gives you 150 health, 1.6 mana regen, and 10 damage. Okay, and so it doesn't seem to build into anything else. If I'm seeing this correctly. Like if I click on Soul Booster, yeah, it's going to show me what it builds into. Falcon Blade does not build into anything except itself. Okay, so that's a cheap item. That's like, it's interesting because this is sort of like more expensive than your Bracer tier items, but less expensive than your Yasha, your kind of mid-tier items. Like this is the cheapest second tier item that you would buy. And it's interesting. Like, well, like the mana regen's nice on it. That's probably the most important thing on this item. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's a good support item. I think it's good built on supports because you're getting that extra health, you're getting that mana regen that you usually need a lot of as a support. And that extra 10 damage doesn't hurt. And there you go. It's an encouragement to buy the extra 125 health at the start of the game. But it'll be interesting to see if people actually end up doing that. So yeah, that's the first item. Second one, Orb of Corrosion. I think this, I'm guessing this is going to be a combination of the two orbs together. Yeah. So Orb of Venom, Blightstone, and plus a fluffy hat is going to make up this 825 gold item. And so it's got a passive, essentially putting these two orbs together, that you're going to be doing the slow and the minus armor. Is it actually buffed from those, though? No, it does the exact same amount that the original items do. And then it just adds the 150. It gives you a little bit of bonus health. So instead of 125 health from the fluffy hat, you're getting 150. Meh. But again, it's 825 gold items, so it's almost like this new second tier of items that you can buy. Is it disassemblable? That's an interesting thought there. Because I don't know, I'm trying to think how I would bet. If you can disassemble it.
Let's not get squirrely now.
Well, I mean,
To have to kill you.
I don't think that actually builds into anything else, would it? Because these items don't build, I mean, so Blightstone will build into a few other things, but the Orb of Venom, see if that actually builds into anything now. No. The Orb of Venom still only builds into the Orb of Corrosion. So if you did disassemble it, I mean, do you keep an Orb of Venom into the late game? Not really, right? But interesting. I don't know, I would say this is more of like a position 3 item where it's got some good benefits, but it's not something that you're going to really hang on to too much. I mean, if you can disassemble it, you can disassemble it into a Desolator. Let's see this.
Just because I'm never going to grow doesn't mean I don't want to level up.
Yeah, you can disassemble it.
Just follow my trail.
Interesting. So yeah, keep that in mind. Orb of Corrosion, you can disassemble it for a Blightstone. Not gonna really get much out of the Orb of Venom. The Fluffy Hat, does that actually build into anything else? So Fluffy Hat's gonna build your Orb of Corrosion, Falcon Blade, and it goes into now the Holy Locket. Let's see if the Holy Locket actually has been changed. Yeah, so Holy Locket. I'm just going to jump to this item now because I'm kind of on the topic. Now automatically gains a charge every 15 seconds. What? Oh, it's a magic stick that just automatically gains itself charges. Now requires Fluffy Hat and a headdress instead of a Ring of Tarask. Recipe reduced. Now provides 3 regen aura instead of personal 4.5 aura. Okay, so they've made... This item was rarely built, in my opinion, from what I've seen in Dota. Even after they changed it again, it doesn't look like it was an item that was really worth getting. Now they've changed it to make it sort of like more supporty. Because I assume it still allows you to use this on other people. So if you're getting a charge every 15 seconds... I mean, I'm going to do some math here, but in a minute you're going to get... What? 6? No, have that. Have the half. 3, so you're going to get 9 charges a minute? No. 4 charges a minute? Oh my god. What's the math on that? 60 divided by 15 is... That is 4, right? Right? I think it's 4. So you're getting 4 charges a minute. So every 2 minutes you got 8 charges. Every 4 minutes you got 16 charges. And a Holy Locket can go up to 20 charges. Is that right? Where is it? Holy Locket. Yeah, max 20 charges. So it's going to take a good 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes to get fully charged. So every 5 minutes you got full Holy Locket charge that you can shoot at somebody to give them a bunch of health. Quite a bit of health, actually. 20 times 15. Gonna get you 200, 300. It's a 300 heal, 300 mana, 300 health heal every 5 minutes. Plus, well, hold on. So you're also getting the charges by spells as well. So it's not just the passively gaining charges. You're also getting charges by the spells that are going on around you. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I like the changes to this. I think it's going to actually make this a viable item to buy as a support. And definitely on, because it still amplifies your heals by 35%. So any healing hero supporter, you don't want this. Especially a Dazzle. Especially a Dazzle. Anyway, back to what we got. New items. Oh, my mouse just got out. Come back. Oh, there we go. Mouse. Nope. I'll just use my keyboard or scroll if I have to. Okay, so next we got Witchblade. Requires Blitz Knuckles, Chainmail, Robe of Maggie, and a 600 gold recipe. So let's take a look at this. Witchblade. So, Blitz Knuckles, so it's total 2,600 gold item. So kind of in between Yasha and Echo Saber. Gives you 350 attack speed, 12 intelligence, 6 armor, and extra projectile speed. Which, I mean, I know the Prince's Knife gives you that extra projectile speed. Is it that worth it? I mean, I guess that's less amount of time that someone has a chance to what is it? Disengage? No. essentially dodge your attack. If your attack's flying faster at them, they have less time to actually dodge it. Funny, I'm getting a pop-up that my game is out of date. So more patch notes coming. No, I'm sure it's just minor tweaks, but sticking with us. So interesting. Goes on an int hero, obviously. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to. Like this even would be good on the new hero who wants the intelligence, wants like the mana. She's going to be a mana heavy hero because she's got a lot of skills she's going to need to use. So getting that extra 12 intelligence would be good on her, plus the 6 armor survivability. Interesting item. Definitely an interesting item. It is like something like decent on a quap. You want a little more survivability and you're going a right-click build. Yeah, I mean, we'll think about it as we're going through the heroes themselves. We'll think about how the Witchblade will fit into some hero builds. Next we've got, oh my god, the pronunciation of this. Glipnir. Sounds German. Gleipnir. Let's just call it the Gleep. The Gleep. Alright, so requires Maelstrom, Rod of Atos, that's interesting combo, and a recipe with a total of 6,150 gold to build this. So yeah, the Maelstrom 2,700, Rod of Atos 2,750, and then a 700 gold recipe. So wow, expensive item, very expensive item. But gives you 30 damage, 20 intelligence, 12 strength, 12 agi. Just looking at how that plays out in terms of bonus with the recipe you're getting. Like what actually bonus are you getting from combining the original items? You're getting 6 more damage. The stats go up slightly. The strength and agi go up by 2. Yeah, and that's about it. So it still gives you... So hold on. What you're essentially getting out of it is this active Eternal Chains. So it roots all enemies in a target area with 450 radius for 2 seconds and deals damage. Kinda sounds like a Meteor Hammer, but a quick one. And applies root instead of stun. Let's take a look. Let's take a look what it actually looks like here. In-game.
Watch your step, eh? Heaps of danger about. Thinks the murder stack.
Okay, so Gnuipin. Deal with this actually. So there's the area effect. Quite decent actually. Pretty damn good. And let's get a couple enemies. Rooted. Cool. So it's got a cooldown of 18 seconds. Not bad. I like the sound effect on that. And the graphic on it. It's pretty cool. Let's see the actual range though. So, huh. That was interesting. So you see this? I'm not sure if you saw what I saw there. But as long as... Oh, this thing goes this far. So I can hit him like this. So as long as the center point of your max thing is there. Now, I think what I saw was that if I'm at the max range, so here, as long as I click it on them, if they walk out of it, they're still going to be hit by it. So it's almost like an attack rather than a projectile that takes effect where it hits. It locks onto the target as soon as I cast it. So watch these guys. They can't really run out of that radius. It's pretty cool. Huge distance. When I first saw this item, I was like, is it going to have the same range as the Rod of Atos? And it does. You can definitely shoot that as far as the Rod of Atos can. And it's an area effect and does damage. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. In terms of its Maelstrom effect,
Say hello to my little friend.
in terms of its Maelstrom effect, so Maelstrom does 30% chance to do four jumps of 140 damage. This does 30% chance to do 4 jumps of 160 magical damage. So slightly increase in the amount of damage it's doing by 20 per jump. Not nearly as much as the 20% 200 magical damage from Mjolnir. But cool. Kind of more of a utility utility Rod of Atos. Or damaging Rod of Atos. Better. Damaging Rod of Atos or more utility Maelstrom, essentially, is what you're getting out of this. And I can see it being good on... Definitely Snapfire is my first obvious hero that comes to mind with this. Because she loves the Maelstrom. She is a utility hero. The root doesn't last super long, so it's not like you would use this to like root them and then use your ulti on. But still very cool. Still a very cool item. You can even put it on like a support Windrunner. I think would be pretty good. Yeah. I mean, heroes that buy Maelstrom, but then want that little bit of extra utility. I think it's pretty good. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like that item. Expensive. Very expensive. Like, you compare it to Daedalus. Compare it to a Bloodthorn. Essentially, like, almost as much as a Bloodthorn. So, definitely one of the higher tier items in terms of cost. Okay. So, back to patches. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. So every time I press a button to switch my screens, it shoots me all the way to the bottom of the patch notes. Which means I should change that. 1 second. That paused. That's not paused. Okay, we're back. All right. Next, Mage Slayer. So, another... It looks like this is going to have some invisibility to it. Mage Slayer. Where are you? Okay, so Mage Slayer, 3,400. And it comprises of a cloak. I said it was going to have invis, and I lied. See the word cloak, and you just immediately assume that it's invis. Wrong. So, you're building it with a cloak, magic resistance cloak, a blade of alacrity, and claymore. So it's a mid-tier item, slightly more expensive than your Echo Saber, kind of on par with an Orchid. Orchid is 34.75, Mage Slayer is 34. So interesting. Gives you 20% magic resistance, 20% agility, 20% damage. So this is actually really cool. Before I even read anything else about it, the fact that this is going to be an Agi hero item, that's going to give you a decent buff on your damage and a magic resistance, which, like, there's not many times on an Agi hero, because chances are, as an Agi hero, you're a carry hero, and you don't really have the flexibility to buy yourself magic resistance, except buying a BKB. But this item's cool. 20% magic resistance. You're essentially doubling your cloak. That's pretty good. Like, you see that you're an Agi hero up against Zeus, Venomancer, Tinker, Leshrac, I don't know, like any sort of high magic lineup, high magic damage lineup. This one's pretty good. Pretty good item. Expensive though. A bit expensive. Not sure if it'll be worth 3,400. I'm guessing my first prediction in follow-up patches to this is going to get a price reduction, because I'm not sure if people are going to want to spend the 3,400. I mean, it's a lot of damage increase. It's a lot of agi increase. Compared to an Orchid, yeah, I mean, Orchid you're getting... I mean, Orchid's a little more intelligence-based, obviously. But the attack speed and the damage is nice on the Orchid. Plus the active. Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't even read the active on this item before I started to say that it's not worth its price. So passive. Place a debuff when you attack enemies, causing them to do 35% less spell damage. Oh! I hit Zeus, and for 4 seconds, Zeus will be doing 35% less damage. Okay, first thought, better on a ranged hero, because you can apply this a little more easier, or selectively. You don't have to run up to somebody in order to actually apply this debuff. 35% less spell damage, quite significant. Venomancer ends up ulting everybody. As long as you're hitting Venomancer, he is doing less damage to everyone that he hit with your ult. I don't know, I'm just trying to think of like what other, like hitting Leshrac with this. Ooh, and you know what? It's spell damage. This isn't just magic damage, this is spell damage. And that's huge. So this counters Death Prophet quite a bit. As long as you got this on yourself, I mean, the magic resistance isn't helping you with her ultimate. But 35% less spell damage from her ultimate is pretty good. So I mean, when you think about it, this item is awesome if you need to fight high spell damage heroes, but you're scared of going up to them and taking all their damage. Like, you get 20% magic resistance plus 35% less spell damage. That's a significant decrease in any magic hero's ability to essentially face off against a carry hero. Interesting. I mean, I wouldn't say it replaces a BKB, because obviously the best thing about a BKB is the fact that you're resisting, or you're negating stuns. Not negating, but dodging stuns or dodging disables. But if it's magic damage you're worried about, this is an awesome item. Very awesome item, actually. Huh. Cool. Alright, next one we got is the Eternal Shroud. So, this is a 3250 item, 3250 gold. Built from a Voodoo Mask, your Hood of Defiance, and Eternal Shroud. Recipe. Quite expensive. But again, you're building off of a Hood of Defiance, so this is kind of like your second tier items. This would be a third tier item. Coupled with a Voodoo Mask. Interesting. So magic resistance 20. So matches what you're getting from your Hood of Defiance. Same with the HP regen. And then you're getting quite a buff on your Spell Steal. So from heroes, you're going to be getting 20%, which is double what a Voodoo Mask gives you. And for against creeps also. So it's essentially doubling the Voodoo Mask, which I think is good. I mean, the only time I've ever built a Voodoo Mask, aside from building it into a Bloodstone, was for OD, Outer World Destroyer, because you get quite a bit of magic or life back from the amount of damage you would do. But the fact that you can now have a tier 3 item coming off of this, essentially like survivability. If you're a high magic damage hero, like a Quap, or even a Zeus that wants to get his fingers dirty in the battle, this is a good item to have, because you'll be able to not only resist a whole bunch of magic damage, but you'll be able to get some lifesteal off of it. So yeah, magic dealing heroes that need to be in the thick of it. I will describe this item, or the heroes that would benefit from this item. Leshrac. I don't know.
Hey, hold this target for a sec.
Let's see what we got. I mean, a lot of heroes. A lot of heroes that are doing damage in the thick of it. Enigma always benefits. Like, he's already got a passive, oh, he did have a passive. Didn't he have a passive magic resistance? Maybe not. Might be thinking somebody else. Jakiro. This one's for you, Nick. This is a new item for you. The Eternal Shroud is a new Jakiro item for you. Because I know how much you love building survivability on your I'm putting in brackets, support heroes. So, yeah. What else we got? Puck. Puck is like...
With alacrity.
So, this is a good Puck item. Here's why this is a good Puck item. Puck can control very well when someone is right-clicking her. Her mobility, once you're... I'm saying her, but it could be he also. Its mobility, their mobility, allows them to choose when heroes are right-clicking them. So it's mostly nuke damage, spell damage that that Puck is worried about. So being able to have this item that gives you magic resistance and lifesteal off her spells, because she's doing a lot of magic damage. Well, I'm taking it back now because her right-click is quite a big part of her damage, his damage, her damage. Interesting. Food for thought. Food for thought. Obviously, I'm not going to go through every item and think, this item's going to be good on Phoenix. But just a few heroes to think about. High magic damage heroes that are in the thick of it. Okay. Helm of Dominator has a new... I'm just going to scroll down here. Helm of Dominator has a new icon. Give me my mouse. This witch, man. Go. There we go. Got it. Helm of Dominator. What? Okay, so in the patch notes, check this out. In the patch notes, Helm of Dominator on the top there has a new icon, but it's not dated here. Interesting. Unless it's a different item entirely? No. Okay, so there you go. There's something that you need to patch. Valve, you didn't actually import the icon for this, for your new Helm of Dominator icon. Oh wait, hold on. Hold on, no, I'm a fool. This guy's a fool. So, Helm of Dominator, it will build into another Helm of Dominator? Am I reading that right? There's two Helm of Dominators. Level 1 and level 2 now. Interesting. Okay, so as we know and love, the Helm of Dominator, Helm of Iron Will, Crown, used to allow you to dominate creeps. Looks like it still allows you to dominate creeps. Doesn't look like there's any actual changes. Let me just take a look here. There's no Helm of Dominator changes in these patch notes. Patch notes. Bit of Defiance. Doesn't look like the Helm of Domi has had a change. So Helm of Dominator largely looks the same. So, yeah, I mean, this is more or less the same. Dominates units, 1,000 gold, set to 200. I suspect that's quite the same. This new level 2 of Helm of Dominator. So, you need a ultimate orb and an additional recipe. Am I reading that right? Yeah. Because you're jumping from 2350 all the way up to 6,000 gold for this item. It's pretty huge. So, high tier. What are we at? Tier 5 or tier 4 for this? I don't know how many tiers there are now. Like, tier 1, beginning items, bracers. Tier 2, your Hood of Defiance. This new item, Falcon Blade. Tier 3, your Yashas, your Rod of Atos. Simmer Cape would be a tier 2, I would say. So I would say anything above 2500. So Yasha would still be a tier 2, an expensive tier 2 item. Tier 3 item. You get the point. Different items cost more than other items. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Oh, going back. What am I doing? Here we go. So level 2 Helm of Dominator, what actually increases? So instead of having 6 attributes, you are now having 20, which is only a net benefit of 4 from what you're actually building. The armor increases by 2, health regen also increases by 2. Is that it though? Is it just a cooler Helm of Dominator? Or just like slightly more stats? Like the recipe is quite expensive, 1600. Does it actually improve your creep? Yeah. Looks like it improves your creep here. So movement speed 420. The movement speed's the same, but the damage goes up. Or health, sorry. So your creep is getting 800 more HP. Much more. And I think otherwise it's the same. It's just more HP. Base attack damage stays the same. Yeah, it's just more HP. So you get this item as you usually do. If you want to upgrade it with an ultimate orb, and give yourself a little more HP, like I think this is good. I think it's a good improvement because like Helm of Dominator, it's kind of like Like looks like they're building this to be a little more on the late game heavy side, right? So a game goes longer than you want it to, as Dota often does, if you're losing or not losing. If you're going into the later game, you can upgrade your Helm of Dominator to give yourself a little more stats, but then also to have your creep have more health, which is important for heroes like Io, Chen, Beastmaster, your usual micro Enchantress. No, hold on, Enchantress you wouldn't buy a Helm of Dominator on her. Or maybe you would, I don't know. No. I mean, you could. There's no, like, Enchantress doesn't actually really have any skills that benefit your dominated creeps, not like a Chen or a Beastmaster. But a big one I didn't mention is Lycan. Lycan's gonna love this. This is actually a nice Lycan buff. Because Lycan wants the ability to scale more. Like a Beastmaster, a Chen, like you're probably not gonna spend that extra gold to get up to a Helm of Dominator, but if you're a carry hero, obviously you want to get 6 slotted. You want to get yourself a lot more stats. So this is a good Lycan buff. What other carry heroes would you want a little guy running around with you? I mean, this gives you incentive to kind of casually buy this item in order to dominate the wolf. Gives you bonus damage, 35% bonus damage. Yeah. I mean, are you going to buy this item on Drow? Probably not. Yeah, I mean, there's only a very niche set of heroes that are going to appreciate this, Lycan being the main one that comes to mind. So, interesting. New item tier, new item level, I guess. So next up, we've got 3 new Blink Daggers. Oh my god. Overwhelming Blink. Yeah, so when I first looked at these, I'm like, this is going to combine your big stat items, like Reaver, Mystic Staff. Let's see if I can remember the other one off the top of my head. Grove Bow, Eagle Song. Yeah, so each one of these is going to... I'm just going to combine all these 3, kind of rush these together in one. But they all do something different. Obviously, they give you stats, which, again, for the late game, seems like this patch is just from what I've seen so far, is adding carry late game items, or making it so that certain items you would have on certain heroes, Blink Dagger, Helm of Dominator, that don't really scale well into the late game now have an upgrade to them. Pretty cool. So the strength one, standard Blink Dagger with a Reaver and then a recipe. I assume all the recipes are the same, which means all of these are the same? Can't be right. They actually cost different amounts. Something's not right here. Something is not right here. Am I going crazy? They are all the same. 2800. I don't know when they changed that. Did they just change that this patch, or which in the previous patches? But Reaver used to be 20 or 3200. Eagle Song was 33, 34. And then this one was always kind of cheaper. This one used to be 27, wasn't it? They increased this? Anyway, not important. The Blink Dagger. Overwhelming Blink. So, teleport to target. Standard distance? Standard distance. Teleport to the target at standard distance, but on landing, all enemies in an 800 AoE have reduced movement speed by 50, 50 attack speed slow, and take damage equal to 200 plus 100% of your strength. Ugh. First hero that comes to my mind, Pudge. Pudge is going to love this. I tend to always get Blink Dagger on Pudge because it just makes him that much more useful. But for him to be able to then add some strength to himself and then give his Blink a nasty slow. Remember, because this slow is going to stack up with his Rot slow. To be able to reduce the attack speed of heroes around him by 50, which is quite significant. 6 seconds. Pretty good. It's pretty damn good. Yeah, that's cool. Obviously, this is going on your position 3. He's already got himself a Blink Dagger to initiate. Would I buy this as a carry? Say I'm like a, I don't know, I was going to say PA, but PA's already got himself a Blink. But, I mean, a carry hero that always buys Blink. I was going to say Sven, but I mean, maybe now. I haven't seen what changes they made to Sven, but hopefully this patch has fixed Sven, making him a little less broken with his Agnums. Sven would normally buy Blink Dagger without, before his Agnums became a thing. So, I don't know, a carry hero that has a Blink Dagger that wants that attack speed slow if he's going to face off against another carry, or that movement speed slow that he doesn't want others to get away. Like minus 50 movement speed for 6 seconds. That's huge. Let's just see how huge that is. I think that's pretty damn huge. Oh my god, Phoenix. So just randomly I picked Phoenix, but think about getting this item on Phoenix. I mean, this will be kind of funny. Let's say you have 3 heroes. Boop, boop, boop. Let's level them up. So normally, I'm just going to go free spells, level myself to max. If I just go in here, and I egg, they all attack me. I'm sad. I'm really, really sad. Sucks, you know? I mean, obviously you don't want to... That's probably the worst egg in history. But now check this out. You happen to have yourself this item. Suddenly, I'm not such a sad Phoenix anymore, am I? Kinda cool? Kinda cool? I mean, it's interesting, right? Like, obviously that was close, right? If you had 4 heroes, that wouldn't have worked. If you had 2 heroes, it would have worked better. But you wouldn't get a Blink Dagger on Phoenix. Phoenix already has a way of being very mobile. But food for thought, right? Food for thought. So anyway, that's how that looks like. And look at that slow. Like, that's a huge slow. For a long, long ass time. Like, you're a carry hero, like a Ricky. Also has a blink already, so not really viable, but... a hero that you don't necessarily have a way to pin down an enemy, but you do a lot of damage with your right click. Being able to slow for 6 seconds is huge. Look at that. Now I'm a right click hero that can like pour down a lot of damage while these guys are trying to get away. Or trying to attack. Very cool item. I think viable on not just your initiators, but also your carry heroes. Neat. Neat, neat. So the next one is a Swift Blink, Agi based. And so this, after teleportation, you gain 30% phased movement speed. Okay. More attack speed, more attack, 40% more attack, or 40 attack damage. 40 attack speed. Quite a DPS buff. And you move faster. Interesting.
What is this? A game of
right off the bat,
sort?
who do I want? So Templar Assassin loves attack speed, loves more damage. This is gonna be an item for her. Definitely gonna be an item for Templar Assassin.
In defense of the temple.
Obviously you wouldn't get this right away. Like she gets Blink quite soon, but you would want to get yourself a BKB. You already have your Desolator. Maybe you even want an additional damage item before you would then upgrade to this. Here we go. So let's level me to max. Actually, you know, I'm going to give myself kind of a standard build, just so I know how much movement speed that might actually look like. Let's give ourselves a dummy. Oh, I can already see the movement speed. Let's give ourselves a dummy. So I'm attacking. It's my normal attack. Pretty good. Pretty good. But I throw that on. Like, that's quite nasty. This makes TA quite nasty. Like, right off the bat, you put on Refract, giving yourself an extra 100 bonus damage. Then you blink yourself here, attack, and like, the amount of damage output you're doing right now, with that extra bonus that you're getting from that, very cool. Also, makes you more evasive, or like, being able to escape. Whole team is chasing you down. Your blink comes up. All of a sudden you get this awesome, sick movement speed to escape after you've blinked. So, not only a good damage item, but also a good escape item. Cool, cool, cool. I should stop just quoting that. Maybe I should just mute it.
My blades and my mind are as one.
Alright, and the last one. So we got Arcane Blink. Teleport a target. So yeah, after we teleport, we're going to gain 25% ability cooldown reduction. What the heck? Really? Okay, so I have a thought, and I'll tell you my thought in a second. I'm just going to finish reading this. 25% ability cooldown reduction, 50% cast point reduction. This makes you cast faster, makes your abilities come back faster. 25% of 6%. Okay, so here's my thought around this. Does this will only affect skills that are cast while this is on, correct? So if I take
Few shall elude my blades.
Zeus. Don't actually think you'll get this item with Zeus, but I mean, you could get it with Zeus if you want to get in their face. But level to max. I'm not going to do free spells. I want to see what this blink is going to look like.
I ordain it.
So normally my refresh,
For God's sake.
pretty quick. 2 seconds.
Very good.
Nice. Let's get our dummy targets up.
Sound advice.
Not bad. 2 seconds without it.
Answers.
Use it.
A position of power.
The 6 seconds is nice. The duration of it's nice.
Forward.
This is my normal.
To battle.
This is my activated. Slightly faster, right? Obviously, you combo with like the more spells you have, the more benefit you're going to get out of this. So standard.
Very good.
I mean, you're only going to get this off. Like, this is a 6-second cooldown. This lasts for 6 seconds. So I blink, cast it. This is coming back. Hopefully I get this off before it's up so that I then get lower cooldown on the second one. Interesting kind of dynamic if you are getting this with Zeus. You gotta get that second lightning bolt in just before that 6-second cooldown's up. Which means... refresh. It's not gonna affect this. But, check this out. So that is what? Standard 90-second cooldown? 20-second cooldown. If I blink and then cast it, I've just knocked off what? Sorry, what was the original? 120. I just knocked off 30 seconds. 30 seconds off my ulti.
Your prayer and
So that's the beauty of this item. Cool, you can cast your things faster. You're casting, yeah, you can cast things faster, but for your ultimate, if you have a huge ultimate, casting this right before you cast it is huge, absolutely huge. Go to Enigma. Enigma loves his Blink Dagger.
I'm your god too.
Get this item here. So normally, I do my combo. I'm gonna even do it right. Go off a little bit here. Boop, 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 boop. They share the cooldown, obviously, but don't want free spells. All right, so everything's on cooldown. 144 seconds, 27 seconds, and then 15 seconds. No, 22 seconds on this. I switch these up. Refresh. Oops. Refresh. Look, now suddenly it's only 108 seconds, 23.6 seconds, and this was reduced too, wasn't it? Yeah, 16 seconds. Well, that's huge. It does items as well, okay? It does items as well. Your Daggin is going to get on shorter cooldown after blinking. That's cool. That's very, very cool. I love that item. That is like, that might be my favorite. That might be my favorite item. Very, very cool. Okay, so lesson to learn from that. You have a huge ulti, blink before you use your ulti. You're going to get your ulti back so much quicker. Very, very cool. Next up, we've got Windwaker. See? Windwaker. All right. 7,100. 7125 gold for this. That is the most expensive item by a considerable margin. Am I right? Blink Daggers are expensive, 6,800. But 7125? Like, I mean, the thing that could compare before was Bloodthorn, right? Oh no, Abyssal is more expensive. So, expensive item. Plus 50 movement speed. So this is built off of a Yield Scepter, your Mystic Staff, Windrakers. So again, this is going into the theme of like Valve wanted to put in extra tiers to items into the late game. So this is an upgraded Yield Scepter. You're getting more movement speed by 30, so 30 more movement speed. 6 mana regen instead of 3.5. and then 35 intelligence, an extra 15? No, an extra 25. So you are getting a bit of a... No, you're getting the same amount. Same amount from your Mystic Staff. So that's just a straight addition. And Cyclone is the same? More damage? Not more damage. Less cooldown? Not less cooldown. It's just a glorified Yule Scepter. Yeah, just a glorified Yule Scepter. I guess kind of like the... I don't know, the Helm of Dominator second level was like... had a slight buff to its creep health. But this is just like... You're getting more stats. Your Cyclone's the same. So heroes that would actually build this... I mean, no, I'm not liking this. I do not. This is probably going to be my least favorite item, and here's why. Supports are going to be tempted to buy this. It's expensive. It is ridiculously expensive. And the benefit you're getting out of it as a support... 30 movement speed, sure. But like the mana, like the mana's nice. I guess you get a nice mana buff out of it. But really, are you getting, is it that important for the amount of gold it's worth? No, this has got to be a carry item. I will hate the support that buys this instead of, like, if you're buying a Mystic Staff, just get yourself a sheep stick. For the love of God. Get yourself a sheep stick. Do not buy this item. Yeah, a sheep stick obviously costs more, but I'm not impressed with this item. Too expensive. Way too expensive. Cut out the recipe. Throw out the recipe for this item. You know, drop 1,600 off the cost of this item. I think it would be justifiable. It wouldn't break it. It would make it more viable for support to buy. I just think it's too expensive. It's just too expensive for support to make use of this. I mean, sometimes you play those really long, ridiculously long Dota games that your support just has so much money. It's like, I don't even know what to buy. But, like, how often does that happen? How often do you have that extra gold to spend as a support? Not likely. So, least favorite item. Don't think this is going to be that useful. This is going to fall into the Holy Locket bin. The old Holy Locket. I think the new Holy Locket's got some potential. This is going to get changed pretty quickly, I think. Alright, moving down. So now we got some balance changes, so I'm going to switch my screen. So these are changing items that we already know and love. So Aether Lens, mana reduced from 450. So you're getting less mana out of this. Was it really giving you that much more? Lens. Like from your energy booster that gave you 250, a lens used to give you 450. Really, that's actually quite a huge mana boost. I think that's why so many people would buy this item. I mean, obviously you're getting the cast range out of it. But like it's a nice, it was a nice mana boost. It's not as much anymore. They dropped it by 150 now, but kind of cool. So Aether Lens now builds into Octarine Core. That's new. So that's coming up. Interesting Octarine Core. Not an item I would buy often, so I'm kind of excited to see what they do with this change. Soul Booster no longer grants 10% magic resistance. Aww. I kind of liked that. Just like, that was a change that kind of made me smile a little inside when I saw it in the last patch, but not so much anymore. So Soul Booster still builds into Bloodstone, Octarine Core. Do you go for a casual Soul Booster? No, you're always going to build it either into one of those two items. Hard to imagine a hero that builds themselves a Soul Booster and wasn't anticipating building a Bloodstone, Octarine Core. And those two items too are like core 4 magic casting carries. Not carries, but like core, not supports, non-support heroes. I can't think of many supports that are going to go Octarine Core or Bloodstone or have the ability to do that. So Octarine Core no longer grants the 10% magic resistance. That's obvious. No longer has a 900 gold recipe. Good. I'm not a fan of recipes. I think if generally they would take out recipes and they would, I mean, they're a way to balance the game in a different way, I suppose, but now requires Ether Lens instead of a Voodoo Mask, so it's not giving you, no longer provides spell lifesteal. So what is this good for? What is an Octarine Core really good for? Octarine Core. I mean, Octarine Core, so Ether Lens, Soul Booster. Oh my god, is this for real? Okay, so I think I see a huge mistake here. Maybe I'm wrong. Turning your Aether Lens into an Octarine Core means you lose the increased cast range by 250. No, there it is. That's weird. Hey Valve, why are you putting the passive ethereal focus here and then in this description you add it up here? Inconsistent. Okay, so you're not reducing your cast range by building an Octarine Core. Then essentially you're getting your nice mana buff, nice health buff, and then the cooldown of your spells. With coupling this with that new Blink Dagger, that's pretty cool. Hello, new Enigma item. Because there's so many times I'm Enigma, I'm like, man, I wish I had just a little bit more cast range because I'm tired of embarrassing myself with the black hole and thinking I've casted in the right cast range, but I end up casting it too far. And my guy ends up walking, and that extra second it takes me to actually cast the black hole after I blinked ends up making me stunned. Or I do something ridiculous like cancel my black hole after I've started it accidentally. It happens to everybody. Little piece of advice, the more times you mess up, the better you'll get. Feel free to mess up those chronos, those black holes, because that's the only way you're going to get better at them. Cool, Octarine Core. I think that'd be really cool on Enigma. Check this out. Mr. Enigma. So we level ourselves to max, get ourselves our fancy new Blink Dagger, and then get ourselves an Octarine Core. Akko Taco, where are you? Alright, so right off the bat, 144, getting an Octarine Core on you. Now it's only 108 seconds. Sorry, I'm looking at the time, your cooldown for Black Hole. So Octarine Core, saving yourself 44 seconds off your Black Hole, which honestly, late game, that's pretty huge. I think this pushes Enigma a little more into his core role, which I think he is. I always feel so much more comfortable playing this hero when I have the ability to get items. So having this, an Octarine Core, that makes it so your Black Hole is only 108 seconds. That's less than 2 minutes. That's really good. You know, instead of having to wait over 2 minutes. Nice significant drop. Add that with your cool new Blink Dagger. Look, it's only 80 seconds. I can do my next Black Hole in 80 seconds. Keeping in mind, if I do end up going Refresher Orb as well, as long as I cast my Refresher Orb before this is up, my Refresher Orb is also going to have less cooldown. So right now, 108. I cast this. Oops, I put free spells. Now it's only 81 seconds. Huge drop, right? So it's going to look a little something like this. I am stacked with items.
Acceleration.
I want to go. Now before that is up, I want to make sure... Okay, so I do have enough time. I'm at first, sorry, I'm going to do this right. First I was worried that I would have to cancel my black hole in order to make sure my refresher orb gets within that 6 seconds. Not the case, not the case. It's only 4-second black hole. We're doing that. And then drop another one of those. And then you can do that combo again in 80 seconds as opposed to 144. Like, I'm exaggerating when I say that's half the time, but it's pretty damn close to half the time. It is only 20 seconds off from doubling the amount of black holes you can do. Very cool. Octarine Core. All about that cooldown reduction. Very, very neat.
My brush.
Okay.
Fate.
Octarine Core done. Bloodstone. No longer grants that magic resistance. Honestly, that magic resistance, late game, 10%, it adds up. Sad to see it go. I bet most people won't notice it, to be honest. So now Bloodstone requires a Voodoo Mask, and now it gives you lifesteal. Well, lifesteal. Okay. Okay. Octarine Core. Nope. Bloodstone. So, interesting. Bloodstone is the way it was. Except now you get this added benefit. Honestly, I wasn't a big builder of Bloodstone. Only heroes I would ever consider building this item on before was Storm Spirit, Timbersaw. Sorry, no. Hold on. I'm talking about even before they added the Spell Lamp. Spell Lamp added some things. So they keep building on this Bloodstone. They added Spell Lamp to this a couple patches ago. So then, like, Zeus, yeah, any hero that you enjoy that bonus magic damage from, that you would be building a Kaya from anyway, loved it. Loved that extra. But now it gives you Spell Lifesteal. Interesting. Again, this is going to be for that hero that does heavy magic damage in the thick of it. So Leshrac is going to love this. Like,
the battlefield is merely a canvas.
Enigma's not going to complain. I don't think you would get it on Enigma. Ones that you really need a lot of magic. Necrophos. Necrophos loves his heal. He's got a skill that's going to benefit his lifesteal as you're doing damage. Because he wants survivability, and that added lifesteal from Spell Lifesteal. How do you even call that anymore? Spell Lifesteal? Spell Lifesteal. Interesting, and it's amplified too. So it not only just gives you the Spell Lifesteal, it also gives you amplified Spell Lifesteal. Right, because this did that. Did you ever really notice that? Spell Lifesteal Amplification. Hold on. You're telling me we've been running with a Kaya in our inventories, getting 24% Spell Lifesteal Amplification, but most of the time not having Spell Lifesteal? So I'm thinking, like, you buy this, and unless before this patch you didn't buy your funny little Voodoo Mask and Bloodthorn. Because the old Bloodthorn didn't give that. Didn't give you base Spell Lifesteal. Right? You had to get an Octarine Core in order to have that. So you would have to have an Octarine Core and a Kaya in order for this part of the Kaya to actually be useful. Am I wrong about that? Anyway, looks like they fixed that. So now Bloodstone, like this is going to be, I think you're going to notice a huge jump in the amount of survivability you're getting out of a Blightstone. Because that's huge. Because you weren't getting this benefit before. You were getting the benefit, but you weren't really using that benefit, I think. So now you're guaranteed to have that benefit. Very cool. Very cool. So, I don't know. Void Spirit. Void Spirit might even like that.
The great confluence approaches, and my time
Like, Void Spirit needs a lot of mana. You need means of survivability that essentially take off, like, silences, or prevent him from getting locked down. But a Bloodstone. Like, the amount of mana regen he's getting out of this item is huge. And then once you start getting a lot of charges, like you were just getting that much more. And then you can convert your maximum mana to health as well. You get a Bloodstone on this hero who loves to be in the thick of it. Like, how much health is that going to actually, like, do for me? Let's say I've got 3 enemies. 3 enemies is a good amount. It's average. Just above average. Let's take a bunch of damage from this tower. Now we can even take a bunch of damage from this. Owie, ow, ow, ow. Okay, so now let's take a look at how much just flying myself into a group of enemies is going to do for me. Okay, let me try that again. First of all, let's give these guys a little more meat so they survive. Okay, so I'm going to jump in. Let's see, I've got 20 or 1500? 1500-ish. I've just given myself 600 health. Just by doing that. 3 heroes, I mean, that's quite a bit. But extra 600 health just for casting my spells. I have my Agnums where I can do Resonant Pulse twice. Check that out.
I do not hesitate. I must admit, occasionally, your movements are... I return.
Oops. Wasn't supposed to happen.
Perhaps I appear in my proper place.
I could do free spells.
Do you think I've not seen this?
Not actually about cooldowns here. Okay, so I'm down to 20, nope, 13, 1300-ish. So I almost gave myself 800 health. I think that was 800, 700 to 800 health back from just jumping in there. Huge. Absolutely huge. Yeah. Heroes that do a lot of magic damage that need to be in the thick of it. I like it. I like that change.
I was always watching. Now I lend a hand.
Alright, Echo Saber. Slight? Oh, not slight. Significant mana regen increase. Look at that. That's quite a bit. I mean, good. I mean, I think Echo Saber needed a buff because there's so many times I could just not justify buying that item. You need the mana. You need the double hit's nice, but like, this just would encourage me to buy Echo Saber more on heroes that where the mana was nice, but now the mana is really nice. Well, Silver Edge has been changed quite a bit. Let's see this. Item. Silver Edge. Alright, so Silver Edge now instead of needing... It used to be the Echo Saber. And you know what, honestly, I hated that Silver Edge had the Echo Saber in it because it made it melee. It made it so melee based. where Silver Edge historically was not necessarily a melee-based item. And you know what? I don't know if they've taken it off or not, but Break was great for range heroes, or could be great for range heroes, but maybe they took it off. Let's take a look. So now you need an Oblivion Staff with your Shadow Blade. The cost is interesting. The total cost is 500 gold cheaper than the Silver Edge used to be. So, okay, Silver Edge is cheaper now. I think Shadow Blade, I imagine they would have said that Shadow Blade changed before they would say the Silver Edge changed. So, assuming the Shadow Blade's the same, you got 40 damage, 45 attack speed, 11 intelligence, 3 mana regeneration. Okay. Mana regen's huge from what it used to be. Attack speed and damage, nice buffs to them, to be honest. You go from 25, 35 to... it's a straight addition, I think. I think it's just a straight addition from the items themselves. But Oblivion Staff means it builds into 3 things now. I mean, kind of builds into 3 things now. It would have built into the Silver Edge before too. Now it just has a different route that it takes. Makes you invisible for 14 seconds. While invisible, you move faster, slightly faster than the Shadow Blade. Attack to end the invisibility will deal 175 bonus physical damage. Physical damage. Remember that, kids. Doing your homework right now. It's physical damage that you're getting out of this. And disables their passive abilities. Same as it was. Now you're going to use it on ranged heroes more. Because this is now a ranged hero more item. Well, not necessarily. It just took the bias out of it. The melee bias that was in Silver Edge. And made it cheaper. I like it. I like the change. Let's see. Next we got Ring of Tarask. Item has been removed. Farewell. Farewell. Honestly, this was an item when it came out. I was like, cool. But deep down inside, I knew it was an item that I would never really buy on its own. I would only just buy it once I was getting the Heart of Tarask. And I know some heroes, Spectres, maybe Venomancer, you would buy this casually. Ring of Tarask just never really did it for me. Never really did it for me. It's like that friend at the party that, you know, you're like, yeah, I invited you, you're here, you're cool. I'm gonna laugh at your jokes, but I'm not gonna really buy you as a first item or second item. Sorry. Anyway, it's gone. Heart of Tarask. No longer uses Heart of Tarask. Okay, so let me switch us down here. Heart. So, Heart of Tarask. So the recipe cost has been increased from 650 to 900, essentially replacing the cost of a Tranquil Ring of Tarask. No, maybe not. 4,800. That's cheaper. I feel like, yeah, Heart used to be well into the 5,000 gold range. So Heart is cheaper now. Heart is cheaper now. Good. Because honestly, before I had a lot of... After they made changes to this item, and Satanic became much more in the meta, like this item just dropped off quite a bit in the last patch. So now they made it cheaper. One thing. The bonus health you get from it is reduced by 2 from 400 to 250. Bonus strength has been increased by 5, so from 40 to 45. Cool. You're getting a little more damage, slightly more damage out of this item than you used to. HP regen increased from 1 to 1.6. Just a static health regen. Good. No longer has out of combat regen. Do you see what they did with this item? So now and then Valve makes an item and then changes it and then changes it again and then changes it again, But then they reverted back to what it really was a long time ago. And this is what a Heart of Tarask was a long time ago. A straight, huge, max health regen item that wasn't affected by combat. To be honest, I liked the combat. I liked the combat health regen. Like health regen based on combat. Because it gave this item a little more of a dynamic where escape was essential. Like this item on an anti-mage, a weaver, heroes that need to be in the thick of it take a bunch of damage, but then they're able to get out of combat, chill for 5 seconds, and then jump back into combat again with a ridiculous amount of health. Now it's just kind of a flat regen again. It's more of that like tanky. Tank needs to be able to take a lot of damage in the thick of combat. He's gonna see it. Like this is gonna be great for Timbersaw, Bristleback, Centaur, those tanky heroes that just want to be more tanky and be able to just sit in combat and be very annoying because they're so tanky. So hard to kill heroes that build this are going to be that much harder to kill. Yeah. Not a fan of it. It's not a horrible change, but not a great fan of that change. Holy Locket we already went over. Let's see what the Satanic has been changed. So no longer has 800 gold recipe, no longer provides status resistance. Gasp. Damage increased quite significantly from 25 to 45. Unholy Rage duration increased. So the time you get your health back, which is good. That was one thing I think that always kind of... I always felt like that lifesteal period could have been extended a little longer. This is interesting. Satanic. Where are you? Where are you? Crazy item. Oops, ceremonial. What did I just click on? Spoilers. This is a item for a neutral item. We'll get to those. We'll get to those. Okay, Satanic. So, what have they done to this item? It's cheaper. It's 800 gold cheaper. Does not have status resistance. Hold on. Didn't I... No, this is the same. This is the same. I thought they changed the item build of it, but this is the same. You didn't have to have a Sange in order to build this. For some reason in my brain that came up, but no, that's not the case. So they took away the status resist. They made this cheaper, took away the status resist, gave it a nice damage buff, honestly. 25 to 45 is a decent damage buff. And then just made the lifesteal a little bit longer. It's a small change, to be honest. I know I'm going to eat those words. It's quite a significant change. But essentially it becomes less of a survivability item. And I say that like kind of cringing as I say it. It becomes less of a survivability item slightly and more of a damage item slightly. Yeah. I don't think that's a big change. The biggest change, honestly, to this item is the gold that it takes to buy it. The 800 gold recipe reduced with the 800 gold reduction. That's the biggest thing about it. So it makes this item a little more viable. It was viable before as a core. It makes it a little more viable. You can buy it a little sooner. It's a little cheaper. Gives you a little more damage output as opposed to survivability. That's my summary of that. Sange. Sange and its upgrades, status reduction, don't stack with each other. And that's the only change to Sange. So its upgrades, status resistance don't stack with each other. They're nerfing status resistance, it seems like. They stripped it of the Satanic, and they made the Sange so that its status resistance is no longer stack. So, to me, this sounds like it's a huge nerf. Well, I mean, it was quite debatable deciding between status resistance and BKB, magic immunity. By nerfing status resistance, I mean, it makes BKB that much more of an important item. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I think you'll still like status resistance. I think it's still going to be a thing, but it's just not going to be as much of a thing in the game. Not significantly, but just slightly. Halberd. So recipe cost reduced by 200 gold. Region amp reduced by 6% from 30 to 24. And then status resistance reduced from 20 to 60. Just a straight Heaven's Halberd nerf. Cheaper, which is good, because I feel like this item was always kind of felt a bit expensive. Because you tended to want to get this on your support. When you're a core position 3, you would get this item, but you're like, there's all these other items I want to buy. The fact that this item is now a bit cheaper, I think is nice. I think that's nice. And then they just kind of nerfed it generally, which honestly, I think it's a reasonable change. I think it's quite a reasonable change. Just the status resistance changes on the Kaya, they're increased. So that's interesting. So the Kayas, when you're mixing these blades, looks like you just get a slight status resistance increase. Generally, I think status resist is slightly less thing if you're getting Sanjiasha or a Kaya Sanj. You'll appreciate that. You'll appreciate that slight buff. I have Scatty. Now has health benefit reduced by 25, so 225 to 200. Mana reduced, again, 250 to 200. Honestly, I'm not even going to talk about that. It's not that huge. I don't think it's that significant. Drum of Endurance. Charge count increased. Thank you. Thank you. The whole charges thing, you know, after they got rid of Diffusal Blade having charges, I had the thought, why don't they just do this with all the items? Because charges just don't sit well with me in items. They're always like enough of that little bit of a push to make me not buy these items. I don't want to just suddenly end up partway through a game and have 0 charges. I know I've never gotten to the end of a game using all my charges because I never wanted that feeling of like, I bought an item and all of a sudden half of its usability is gone. Or I have to spend an extra 850 gold to get these new charges back, which, you know, I would be like, oh, it's like the tax man taking my gold. Not a fan. Not a fan. But anyway, we get more charges now in Drum of Endurance. Yippee. I will be happy once they change this item so that there's no charge count, it's just a straight. It has a utility that you can use unlimited amount of times. Now it requires Windlace, Robe of Maggie, Belt of Strength, and a 550 gold recipe. Honestly, they've changed this item a few times. I rarely buy it. I know it took a Windlace before. I think this is the old build, isn't it? It used to take a crown. The last one it took a crown. Crowns are nice. I don't know. To be honest, this doesn't really resonate too much with me. Cool. Now I just have to relearn a new set of recipes for this item that I didn't really think too hard about before. But now provides 6 strength, 6 intelligence, and a swiftness aura. This is something that has come and gone, isn't it? I think in the last rendition, I'm not going to bother looking it up, but I think in the last rendition this wasn't the case. Now they put it back in. Cool. I like that. I like that. Having a swiftness aura item, I think, is cool. When they took it out, I was sad. When they put it back in, I'm happy. Am I going to take the time? I mean, yeah. You know what? This is more for me than it is for you, probably. Maybe you'll get something out of this, too. So, Drum of Endurance. I'm going to be buying myself the second tier of belt of stat item, Windlace. Honestly, I like that. The strength buff is nice because it's for support heroes that want a little more beef on them, so they're not getting nuked down instantly. And then you get a nice intelligence buff as well, which supports love. So great. The changes they made to this, they made it more of a support item. Thank you, because honestly, I felt a little confused, a little bit weird in my stomach every time I saw a Juggernaut build this, a Gyrocopter build this, you know, these carry heroes. I'm like, do you really want to buy that? Wouldn't you rather buy something that gives you, I don't know, a little more stats or a little more damage? Anyway, to me, 6 strength, 6 intelligence. Honestly, like, I guess a core doesn't mind that either. It's just an item I never really bought. And to me now, this is a support item. And I'll still scratch my head if I see Juggernauts, Gyrocopters, these other like carry heroes that sometimes buy this. In my books, it's a support item. Cool, more charges. 8 charges, honestly, I'm happy about that. I will use them more liberally. Every time we're taking a tower, every time half of a team fight breaks out, you know what? I'll feel pretty comfortable using those 8 charges. I assume I can still buy the recipe and redo my charges. Yeah. Yeah, see, it's combining down there, Drum of Endurance with the recipe, so, and it's only 550. 550 for 8 charges. I think that's reasonable, Valve. Take my money. Next, Boots of Revel. So, upon equipping, automatically sells TP skulls that you have and grants you 1 charge. This also applies to Meepo clones. Meepo buff. That might be a Meepo buff, which I am aching for a Meepo buff because I'm going to start playing Meepo. Yeah, I don't think you could have used TPs with Meepos before, so now that you can use your Boots of Travel with Meepos, all your Meepos, and they also have the ability to... I just don't know, is that useful? Tell me Meepo players out there, how useful is that? Seems kind of useful. Anyway. So, Mask of Madness damage reduced from 15 to 10. Okay, yeah, it needed a slight nerf. It's a very popular, very good item. Giving it a 5 damage reduction. You'll notice it ever so slightly. Overwhelm active now also triggers the Bash passive cooldown. Aww. I mean, good. Nobody... I mean, it just depends on what side of the barrel you're on, right? Looking down that. Yeah. It just means that you get stunned, and then you're not going to get stunned again until... Well, it means you won't be able to apply... the big change here is that it won't apply extra damage while they are stunned. Because before you could stun them and then bash them for the extra damage, you wouldn't really notice that extra bash, I think, because... I don't know, did they override? This is like some nitty-gritty Dota mechanics, but did your bash override the initial overwhelming active, or the overwhelming active always just kind of take its full duration even if you bashed? Food for thought. I think it's just a slight damage reduction to this item. Next we got Blade Mail. Recipe cost increased from 500 to 675 digital nick. Oh man. All the times you buy this item on a support hero, now it is less viable to build on, I don't know, a Witch Doctor, a Jakiro, a Venomancer. Wink wink. Shout out to you, Digital Nick. Blade Miles are now more expensive. Glimmer Cape. Now requires 450 gold recipe instead of the Gloves of Haste. No longer gives attack speed. Let me guess. Nick, you're going to be like, now this is an argument not to get Glimmer Cape, right? It's a nerf. It's a straight nerf to Glimmer Cape, obviously, because now you're spending that 450 on nothing. You have to actually just get it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think gameplay-wise, meta-wise, it's going to have that significant of a difference. It just kind of sucks for supports. You know, it's nice to get that a little extra attack speed, but not that it will get used that much. Necrophos cooldown reduced from 90 to 80. Nice. Remember, you happen to have that blink dagger that reduces your cooldowns. Blink first, then use your Necrophos. Wink, wink. Archer Warrior now has a movement speed aura increase. He has a attack speed aura, and now he also gives movement speed aura. Cool. Cool. Javelin, proc chance increased from 25 to 30. Damage reduced. So it happens more often, not as much damage. I don't know what the math is on that in terms of DPS, but interesting. Demon Edge, damage reduced by 2. Okay. Now I have to read that again for every item this builds into. Damage reduced by 2, recipe cost. So Monkey King Bar recipe cost increased from 550 to 675. Okay. So it's more expensive now, slightly. Not by much, but a little bit. Proc damage reduced from 100 to 70. That's huge. Because that's the biggest change you can make to this item is how good is it at breaking evasion. They've just made it quite less. Which honestly I think is a good thing. So many times you get evasion, you benefit from evasion, but it all goes to poop as soon as somebody buys this item. And they do. This is a good item. Monkey King Bar is a really strong item. I don't even think too hard if the enemy carry has a evasion to get to break on this, because the damage output on this item is nice too. So I think it's a good change. I think that it's nerfing Monkey King Bar in a way that it needs to be nerfed. Magic damage procs on attacks no longer work with lifesteal. The general change. Magic damage procs on attacks no longer work with lifesteal. Okay. Honestly, if you gave me a true or false question of whether magic damage you could lifesteal off of these before, it would be a 50-50 chance I would get it right. Now we know we don't get magic damage lifesteal off of this. Cool. Maelstrom proc chance increased. Good. I think Maelstrom needed a buff. I always kind of felt a little cheated. Ever since they took the attack speed off of this item, I always kind of felt a little cheated buying it. So glad they buffed that a little bit. Mjolnir following suit. Desolator damage reduced slightly. Not a big fan. I don't think that's a change that needed to happen, and I don't think it's a significant change. I don't think Desolator should have been made more powerful. I don't think it should have been nerfed though either, so that's how I feel about that. Divine Rapier damage reduced from 330 to 300. Honestly, I don't think I'll notice that much. Armlet. Holy Strength active bonus damage increased by 4. Okay. Slight bonus damage. Health drain reduced from 54 to 50. Minor change. Minor change to this item. I don't think any significance is going to come from that. Hood resistance reduced. So magic resistance reduced from 25 to 20. I don't like that. No longer has a recipe. It's cheaper now, though. Honestly, you know what? I do like that. I take it back. Yeah, the 5% reduction sucks, but I think the 300 gold reduction is great, because it'll make this more of a viable item for more heroes, supports. How much is Hood of Defiance now? It's going to be what, 1400? My math is correct. 1450. 1450. Yeah, that's cheap. Expensive, but cheap. But cool thing, Hood of Defiance now builds into 2 items instead of just 1. So, honestly, and remember this item here is quite core, I would say. Magic damage heroes that are in the thick of it. So, cool. I actually like this. I like this a lot. Good change. Good change. We'll see. We'll see how it actually plays out, but Pipe of Insight. Recipe costs increased. So they made this more expensive. No. It's going to be the same price because ultimately you're buying a Hood of Defiance, which was made cheaper. I mean, it does change the timings, maybe slightly. Like if you're a hero and you've saved up 1,300 gold and then you die, you're going to notice this change. You're going to be a little bit pissed off, but keep that in mind. Recipe cost is much more higher, and that's quite an expensive recipe. 1550 for a recipe? That's like as much as Guardian Greaves. That's as much as Guardian Greaves. Yeah, 1600. What else we got for high ones? Refresher Shard is 1800. 1700. They nerfed it, I think, recently. Oh, expensive. You feel so cheated buying recipes that cost that much. Think of all the items you could buy for 1700 just to get to this item upgraded. Like, it's interesting. Interesting dynamic. Vladimir's offering now requires a buckler. Now grants armor aura. So again, they had it, they took it away, they put it back. It used to be 5 armor. Now they took it away entirely and then they bring it back with 3 armor. Okay. Less mana regen. I mean, I think I wasn't building this item too much in the last patch because the armor is like the tipping point for it. It's not huge. 3 armor is not huge, but it's something. It's not nothing. And the fact that this item now has that again, honestly, the mana regen aura, it's nice for the laning stage, but you never have a Vladimir's offering for the laning stage, so that really wasn't a factor. So you're just thinking, oh, mana regen for myself. The fact that it now gives you armor aura just gave this item its usefulness back. Now requires a mechanism, now requires chainmail instead of buckler. Again, reverting, no longer provides an armor aura. Okay. Mana cost reduced by 25. That's a lot, actually. I never really thought about how much it takes a mechanism to use, but yeah, a bit. Recipe cost reduced from, okay, good. Cheaper recipe costs. I'm always happy to see that. No armor aura, though. Used to just give 2. But Guardian Greaves still has the armor aura. Let's take a look at this. Let's go to our Guardian Greaves. So now it requires this, and before it didn't. Now it grants you the 3 armor. Is this 3 armor? This is 2 armor. This is 3 armor. This is 2 armor. This is 5 armor. This is 3 armor. Okay. I think that was smart. I think those have like some small, minute critical thinking on the part of the developers. I was thinking, you're going to take the armor away from Guardian Greaves? You'll have to change the name after that. It won't be as those slightly less Guardian Greaves. Okay. Slight change, something to think about. Falcon Blade reduced by 2 damage for melee heroes from 15 to 13. Key. Cost reduced for Orb of Venom by 25, 300 to 75. Good. I like that. I did notice the extra cost when they made this more expensive. I've been buying it less. This is the reason, the gold that you have to spend at the start of the game for it. The slow has been reduced by 2%, 15 to 13. Okay. Okay. Ring of Regen. So they slightly nerfed it. I've noticed people have been buying this casually. So maybe less of that now that's been reduced by 0.25. Sange Mask. Mana increase. Good. Will I notice that? I mean, maybe. How much mana? How much mana a minute is that? I'm gonna say like 50. 50 mana a minute. I think, if my math is correct. That's about 45 to 50 mana per minute that you're getting extra from the Sange Mask. Now, the reason why you want to think about it so minutely is because this is like a laning stage consideration, right? And honestly, 50 extra mana every minute. After 2 minutes, that's an extra spell every 2 minutes. Average spell. I think that's pretty good. Enchanted Mango, mana restore reduced by 10. Yeah, I mean, these were quite strong, right? I mean, I never felt bad getting mangoes, enchanted mangoes. I think that would be a little bit noticeable. I mean, think about how many mangoes I use in a match. 5. You know, this just makes me more inclined to buy a Sange Mask more than Enchanted Mango. Cost-wise, like, let's consider this cost-wise. Sobe Mask. This used to be called Sobe Masks in Dota 1, I think. But that's just digging deep into my old brain. Mage Mask. This is 175 and a mango 70. So about 2.5. 2.5 mangoes will equal 1 Sobe Mask. I think we're going to start to see a little more casual Sange Masks. That's my prediction. Just slightly. Just slightly. Cost reduced, so for Voodoo Mask. So this is going to be a little more incorporated. As I mentioned, there's that big change to Bloodstone, where spell lifesteal is actually going to be a little more viable. But it looks like they reduced it. By a bit. By a tiny little bit. But they also reduced the cost of it, so it made it a little more viable to buy. Would I get this casually? No. Again, just looking at what it builds into. I mean, it is spell lifesteal, which, keep in mind, that works not just for magic, but for a lot of other purposes. Like, not just magic dealing. So, bristlebacks, for example, love this. Potentially love this. This is a bristleback item. Did I mention this is a bristleback item? Look at this. HP regen. So here's always the thing. When you're bristleback, sometimes you can get away with not buying a pipe. The enemy team doesn't have a lot of magic damage. They have some, but not a lot. Some games you're like, man, I really need a pipe. They got a Zeus and a Venomancer and a Tinker. You're like, damn right we're buying a Pipe of Insight. But if you're on a team that has like maybe just like a Leshrac, one hero that's like quite damn magic heavy, a Pugna, as a bristleback, you can choose to be a little more flexible with this now. You don't like, oh, my whole team doesn't need magic resistance. I myself would rather have the magic resistance plus this spell lifesteal. Will actually make me survive longer than the pipe. So I think this kind of polarizes it a little bit in terms of like you're getting this for team fights where everyone kind of gets a benefit. And remember, it's only 10%. It's only 10% magic resistance. Always in my heart of hearts do I feel like a Pipe of Insight can be benefited from a little more to the aura of magic resistance. You know, make it 15 to 20. You made it 20, that'd be huge. But if you made it 15 and then made this only 25, I think it would make a little more sense. Now we've got two options out of this. And I like it. I honestly like it. So this one, heroes that are in the thick of it, not necessarily spell damage heroes, but heroes that end up doing a lot of damage out, Bristleback. I think I might consider getting this item. Very, very cool. Anyways, Voodoo Mask builds into these two items. So either you're going that route or you're going the Bloodstone route. I wouldn't go for a casual Voodoo Mask. I don't think it's that good. I really don't think it's that good. Check it out. Go into the practice. Take some heroes. I'll do this for myself later. I'm not going to do it now. But like, check out which life you actually get out of this casual Voodoo Mask lifesteal. I suspect it's not going to be a lot. Worth to buy 700 and then nothing else. You're going to build this into one of these two items. So not so much a support item. I think a little more on the core side for sure. Okay, Medallion of Courage, mana regen increased from 125 to 1.5. Yeah, cool, slight buff. Duration and cooldown increased. You can't use it as often now, but it lasts the whole time. You can't switch. I mean, it's a little less brain micro. You only have to think about where your Medallion Courage is doing every 12 seconds as opposed to every 7 seconds. But then you have a little less flexibility in where that armor is. Is it on myself or is it on my teammate? Is it on myself or is it on an enemy? Enemy taking more damage. Same kind of change with Solar Crest. Then we've got Spirit Vessel. Mana regen increased also. Slightly more mana regens. This is from the Sobi masks, aren't they? Pretty sure these items still need a Sobi mask. Yul's Scepter. Mana regen reduced significantly from 5 to 3.5. Interesting. Did it really give you that much more than your Voidstone? Wow. I mean, you're going to notice that. You're going to notice that big. I mean, I personally didn't realize that. I mean, I knew Voidstone was 2.25. I didn't realize Yul's Scepter was such a big jump above that. But when you think about it, as soon as you get a Yul's Scepter, your mana problems are more or less gone. I mean, Yul's Scepter wasn't often built by core heroes. Like, the only hero... Void Spirit. Maybe a Quap, but whenever I buy Yul's on a Quap, I swear those games don't go as well. Because you're always having to sacrifice damage output versus survivability, and Yul's does a lot of things. Don't get me wrong, Cyclone is an amazing ability. But this nerf to the mana regen, I'm gonna think twice about getting this on a Void Spirit. But then again, I don't know, with Void Spirit, I always had more mana regen. Once I got Yul's Scepter, once I get that talent, and then I end up getting either, well, if I get another mana regen item like a Lincoln Sphere or a Sheep Stick, then it's too much. It's too much mana regen, so you wouldn't really notice this too much. But I think you'll notice that drop in mana regen quite a bit on Yul's Scepter for supports particularly. Vanguard can now be disassembled. Okay. I mean, Ring of Health and a little circular thing. I think that's just a convenience thing. I don't think that's a big strategy thing. I think it's just convenience. Active damage blocked values increased. I mean, sorry, going back to this disassembling. What is the mindset that goes into this? Disassembling is huge. Mask of Madness disassembling into parts for a butterfly and a satanic. Huge. Ring of Health and a health stone or the health circle. Blob. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I don't imagine. I think it's more convenience. I don't think it's a strategy thing. I could be proven wrong. Active damage block values increased. Good. Good. Slight buff to Crimson Guard. Modest. Modest. A modest buff. Radiance no longer ignores ancient creeps. Okay. Really? Like, I don't know. Lifestealer is going to buy a Radiance and then jump into an ancient creep and kill the wave that way? I don't know. That's, to me, that's just not that. Slight buff for farming ancient camps. For Alchemist. For I don't know. Greedy position 3s. I don't know. Honestly, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Wraith King benefits from that. Like, who else do we have that's Radiance builders? I mean, there's Omni Knight changes, and I suspect Omni Knight's gonna like a Radiance more. It might be good for Omni, because he might start filling into a more core role, just so the quick glances I did about his changes. He might fit more of a niche core role. A Radiance on Omni Knight, I think it might be a thing soon. Mars, yeah. Night Stalker, it's kind of a luxury item in many ways. Unka. Yeah, I don't know. I think some heroes, I think Doom. There's just like those some heroes that you could build Radiance with. You don't often build Radiance with, but you could. Yeah. Okay. Interesting change. Not significant, I don't think. Modest. A modest change. So, Refresher Orb. Mana cost reduced. Good, because this always trips me up. That mana cost on the Refresher Orb. Every time you nerf that, I'll feel a little better about this item. Cooldown reduced. From 180 to 160. Cool. Remember, fancy Blink Dagger. Blink first, then Refresher Orb. Good. This item, I think, always needs buffs, because it always, especially the most expensive recipe in the game, 1700. Always hard to justify buying this item. But kind of cool when you do, right? Nothing feels really, really, really quite the same as like a double black hole, a double rock from the sky, a double ravage. Ooh, 2 sets of serpent wards. That's it. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. No, not 2 Witch Doctor alts. No. No. Alright, Dagon. Now requires Staff of Wizardry, Crown, and Recipe. Honestly, this to me is a reversion, I think. I mean, the Crown is obviously fairly new. Used to be a null talisman. But honestly, this item needs a buff. Because so rarely can I justify getting this item. So now it grants intelligence and strength and agility. What? Baggy on. Yeah, okay. Gives you more stats. I don't think it gave you these ones before, did it? It was just straight intelligence. Honestly, I rarely bought this item. So I'm not going to be able to give much of a critique on how this has changed. More stats, sure, 2700. Recipe cost, roughly the same, I think. Okay. I don't know. I don't think it changes it that much significantly. I mean, it makes it so buying a Dagon 5 a little more viable, I think, if it's giving you all these stats. Before, when it was just giving you intelligence, meh. Like, this makes it... Obviously, Dagon shouldn't be intelligence heavy. A little intelligence heavy to give you a little more mana to actually cast it, but generally, this is the kind of item that I think needs to be flexible, that it can go on strength, agility heroes as well. So, good. Good you're giving those stats. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about Dagon. Rarely buy it. Rarely buy it. It's like the Radiance. Kind of more of a flashy item than it is actually a utility. Radiance has more utility than a Dagon, but I'm not going to get into it. Not going to get into it. Just not items that I typically buy. Claymore, bonus damage reduced by 1. Oh my god, biggest patch change right there. 1 damage. Cost reduced by 50. Okay. Projectile speed increased on the nullifier. That's good, because it was too dodgeable before. It's probably still quite dodgeable, but you notice that. You notice that. Make this thing instant. Like the Orchid, I would buy this item much more often. But even that little bit of projectile speed, it's significant mechanic. Shiva's Guard recipe cost reduced. Good. 100% agree with this. Great item. Needs to be bought more. Now we have slightly more incentive to buy it. Reaver cost reduced. Yep, and these ones reduced. Okay, where are we at? My god, how long have we been going? 2 hours. Okay. How quickly can I bang off these neutral items? It's just neutral items now, yeah? And that's it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it quickly, just so it's uniform. This is going to be your 2 hour and a bit item recap, part 1 of the patch. Here we go. Neutral items, tier 1. We have a fairy trinket that now gives you extra health, spell amp, and reduces mana costs. Okay. Tipped vest grants HP regen, passively returns 26 damage to attacker and creeps. What? Level 1? 16 damage every time you take a hit? Or you hit somebody? Oh my god. Okay, broken. That's going to get nerfed. Closed mask. So these are just new. Oh, and they're taking out some. These ones have been mango tree. No. Rip. Honestly, nothing joyed me more than the constant debate between whether the mango tree should go in the base, whether it should go out into the map. This is like pineapple on pizza kind of debate, where clearly there is a right answer and clearly there's a wrong answer. No, pineapple does not belong on pizza, and the mango tree belongs out in the map where you're getting a free ward, where rarely the enemy team finds it because you're smart and you're cutting down trees to replace the tree with a mango tree. Trust me, the ward vision is much more valuable than the 20 or so mangoes sitting by your base while your ancient is getting destroyed. Trust me. Trust me. Anyway, doesn't matter. Mango tree is gone. Sad about that. Possessed Mask gives you 7 primary attributes and 7% lifesteal. Wow. Wow. Interesting. Interesting changes. So we get less jungling potential. Iron Talon was nice. Four-Man Shield was that nice little armor that you can give to your melees. Mango tree, rest in peace. Seriously, I'm just going to have a moment of silence. I'm going to miss this item. I genuinely miss it. I think it was cool. I think it was a really cool item. I'm sad to see it go. Now we've got just kind of a meh. I mean, I think you'll notice this. This is kind of cool. But you're not going to notice a big difference on this. You're just going to throw this on your supports and be like, yeah, sure, benefit from it. Throw it on your Zeus. Yeah, sure, he's a little more tanky. He's got a little more damage. He can pipe out a little more of his spells. Chipped vest, broken. Wow. Get this, throw it on your tank early game. That tank is just going to ball out of control because nobody's going to want to hit him and take 26 damage. That is nuts. This mask is always just going to get thrown onto your core. Well, yeah. Or your mid. Your mid or your core. Remember, tier 1. These ones, tier 1. We'll see changes on those soon, I'm sure. Balance changes. Arcane Ring. Higher cooldown. Okay, not significant. Active cooldown increased. Really? You mean I can plant a tree every 4 seconds now to roll my enemy team and say GG every time I get a sweet play? Now I can only do a sweet play every 15 seconds instead of every 4 seconds? Come on. Tier 2. New items. Quicksilver Amulet. So, attack animation and projectile speed. This is new. What is this gonna look like? I don't know. It'll be interesting. Increase in movement speed and attack speed. If any of your abilities are on cooldown, you gain an additional... Ah! Wow. Strong. Very strong. Very strong item to be putting on your Phantom Assassins. Your... Who else constantly uses skills? TA. PA. PL. Does this... So when you get this buff as PL, does your illusions then also have the buff? I think so. Great on illusion heroes. Bounty Hunter has a ridiculously long attack animation. But you're not gonna... Well, there's projectile speed. Yeah, it's hand in hand, right? This is still gonna go on your melee heroes for sure. Don't think that this projectile speed is gonna make this only for range heroes. It just means range heroes get a slight buff. Anyway, cool. Cool item. Think it's a bit strong for tier 2, but we'll see. Bullwhip. Regen, HP, and mana regen. Can be cast on allies to grant them more movements. Every 5 seconds. You can follow your teammates around and whip them in the butt. Or you can use it on enemies to slow them. I love that. This is cool. Thank you. Different cooldowns, so you can't do it as often. Thankfully, they thought of this. 5 seconds slow. You're constantly whipping someone, that would be broken. This is a cool item. Also, I think quite strong. I think these changes to neutrals that they're doing are going to be a bit overpowered. That they're going to have to scale back. No more vampire fangs. I mean, it was sort of like a less good paladin sword. And then you kind of felt weird that you had vampire fangs and then you get a paladin sword and you're like, okay. Okay. Clumsy net removed. This was a cool item. I mean, I'm not going to be as sad about it as Mango Tree being gone, but if you're Ursa, you get this, and you're skillful enough that you can just throw your Clumsy Net on someone that you just want to maul down endlessly. It was cool. It was cool. I'm sad to see this go. Jakiro, nerfed. Skywrath Mage, nerfed. In fact, there are some heroes that really loved this item. Goodbye. Imp Claw. Cooldown reduced. Good. Good item. It's slightly better. Health reduced from 425 to 50. Okay, slight nerf on the Essence Ring. It's a strong tier 2 item. For sure. Yeah, okay. I mean, these are obviously, like, better than these. So they've just generally increased the strength of tier neutral items with this so far. Oh, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Tier 3 items. Elven Tunic. Grants you a hefty attack speed bonus, evasion, and movement speed. Oh! Wow. Okay, cool. Nice. Nice tier 3 item. Neat. More evasion in the game. More kind of like casual evasion happening. Remember, they nerfed MKB, so it'll be good. That attack speed is nice. The movement speed's nice too, honestly. Cool. Good item. I think right in tier 3. Yeah. Yeah. Cloak of Flames grants armor, magic resistance. Passive immolation aura dealing 45 damage a second in a small AoE. This is a small AoE. Not big. This is almost like, this is Ember Spirit size. But it's constant. 45 damage. Not quite a radiance. Magic resistance, armor. This is really good on your bristlebacks, your centaurs, your tide hunters, your tanky in their face heroes. Pudge. Ugh. Great Pudge item. Oh my god. That's strong. I like that. Ceremonial Robe will grant you 350 mana. And enemies within a 1200 AoE, quite big, screen size, will have minus 10 status resistance. And just minus 10 magic resistance. Neat. Neat. Again, also on your core heroes. It's a big aura. This is going to work on your supports in the back. Quite a bit. I mean, obviously, the further you can extend this AoE, the better. But nice mana buff. Kind of sucks for your enemy team. Interesting. Grants, so Psychic Headband. Wait. Cool name. Grants 12% intelligence and cast range. What? You see this? Grants plus 12% intelligence. That's not plus 12 intelligence. That's plus 12%. So, how often do you have 100 intelligence on a hero? Kind of, sort of often? I mean, okay. I think this is just here to make me try and have to think more. Because honestly, if this was 12 intelligence, it wouldn't be that much significant than 12% intelligence. Obviously, heroes like Silencer, heroes like Outer World Destroyer, who their damage is kind of gets a bit based on their intelligence, their mana pool. It's interesting. But like I said, I think the biggest effect here is now that I just have to think more about this. More cast range, 100. I mean, comparing that with the Ether Lens, it's not as much. Ether Lens is 250, I believe. So just a little bit of an increase. Activate to push the target enemy 400 distance away from your cast. From you. And it has an 800 cast range. Oh. Wait, it has a 900 cast range. Get it? Get it? Nudge, nudge. Nudge, nudge. Okay, cool. 400 distance? What are we looking at here? Is this significant? It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm putting it on Mirana. I don't know why. Maybe because I want that 12% intelligence increase.
To the battle.
Look, I'm going to make myself fully max level. And Mirana has 77 intelligence. So she's not even going to get 11 intelligence or 12 intelligence out of that. She's going to get 10, 9 intelligence off of that item. Meh. Meh. View all neutrals. So, where are we at here? Now I got this. Jerk of an axe. Coming up to me. I'm like, don't come up to me, axe.
Good idea.
Slight. It's very slight as a 30-second cooldown.
On track. First
Okay.
blood.
I mean,
It was ours all along.
neat. You can't use it on yourself, can you? As a
Forward,
force
my
staff?
battles.
Ah, apparently you can't refresh it.
Not yet.
Really? Even having free
Not
spells makes it
yet.
so I can't refresh this?
I am not ready.
Interesting. Give me my refresher orb. Beep.
Good idea.
No, it has to be on an enemy. Take that, creep. Can you push up cliffs? You can push up cliffs.
Since you command it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Your
They took out the
business
repair
has
kit.
arrived.
They took out Craggy Coat. They took out Fairy Fire.
Mortal plane.
Fairy Fire. Honestly, I've always felt sad for this item. I mean, it's there. Do you remember to use it? It's gone. It's the charges thing. It's the charges thing all over again. So really, that's that. Yeah, sad to see Repair Kit go. I did actually like the regen on it. Big kind of mechanical that you can't repair your own towers now. Honestly, have I personally been in games where the Repair Kit has made a huge difference? No. I'm not that good. I'm just not that good enough. So I don't think that's made a big difference, but maybe in other games. And then Quickening Charm, cooldown reduction reduced by 1%. Telescope has been moved to tier 4. Really? I mean, it's good. Telescope is a good item. But really, like, don't think it's... That's just me. Okay. New tier 4 items. We have a Penta Edge Sword. Provides 45 damage. Nice. Plus 80 melee attack range. 80. Oh. And 40... we got Maim back, boys and girls. Maim is back. 20% chance to Maim. Reducing their movement speed by 20 and attack speed by 60. Oh. What's a good item? That's a good item. It is tier 4. You don't see it till quite late in the game. But, kinda cool. Put this on Faceless. See what that attack range buff looks like. 80.
From a place beyond time.
80, 80, 80.
Beyond counting.
I'm here. That's how far I am. Give myself this fancy pants new item.
The march of time.
Now I can hit him from back here. There to here. It's something. Honestly, it's something. Somewhere in some games, it's going to be the last hit that makes the difference. I think it's good. You could have a Tide Hunter standing there, and you can still hit the heroes behind him. So blocking,
yes.
less effective. The Maim. What's the percent chance of Maim? 20%. Okay. Not bad. Wait, I gotta exit this unless you want to hear creeps hitting each other. Get out of here. Okay, next we have Storm Crafter. So it grants 4 mana regen and zaps an enemy with 700 range of you every 3 seconds. Dealing 200 damage and slowing every 3 seconds. For 0.3 seconds, can be activated to Cyclone yourself. That is a broken item. 200 damage every 3 seconds. 700 range is not insignificant. 700 range is styling. You are Razor's ulti. This item is giving you Razor's ulti. Am I wrong about that? And a Yule's? And is it Dispel too? Like, does this item also have the Dispel on it? Because that seems a bit overpowered.
I go.
Prepare for battle.
That's 3 seconds, it's not entirely Razor's ulti. No sound effect to it.
Face forward.
There's a sound effect to it. It's creeps?
Yes. First blood.
Yes.
Time quickens. Time flows.
And then a slight second, the dodge. Did you see that range? Do you see this range? Like, that's hefty. That's a hefty range right there. Probably a little more. Yeah, it's from back here. Huh. That's nuts. Broken item. If it dispels too,
Axe runs.
pretty sure you can spell that.
Inexorable.
Ugh. I don't have enough mana to cast this. Let's try this again. Yep, dispels.
My path unspooled.
The cooldown's pretty high. 25 seconds is quite a high cooldown. But still, quite a strong, powerful item. Put it on a tank who doesn't like a bristleback, who's trying to run away, purge himself, zaps people. Trickster's Cloak grants 20 evasion, 20% evasion, 20 magic resistance. Activate to become invisible. Huh. For 6 seconds. Okay. So passively you get this, which is quite a bit. And then you also have your Veil of Discord. But it's just on yourself. Hold on. This isn't a Veil of Discord. This is only activating on yourself. So Digital Neck, instead of buying Shadowblade, on your support hero, just cross your fingers really hard and hope that you get this item. And then you won't need the Shadowblade. Wink, wink. Magic Lamp removed. Okay. Witless Shako, that was a funny item. You always want it, but you can never, you should never put it on yourself because you'll have no mana. Prince's Knife is removed. Havoc Hammer removed. Okay. Sad about these changes. These ones are they were good items. Havoc Hammer was, I loved this item. Why take away the hammer, man? It was cool. It was like you can body check somebody. Running through and then boom, knock somebody right onto a cliff or off a cliff. It was cool. I'm sad to see it go. These new items, they're strong. They're definitely fit to be tier 4. Not as strong as tier 5, so yeah. Hold on, so a telescope, they buffed it, thank God. Because moving it from tier 3 to tier 4, next to these items, imagine the sad support that has to carry a telescope while their teammates get these cool ass items in tier 4. Anyway, attack and cast range or increase. So they made it slightly better. Good. No longer affects non... Okay. Really? I had no idea it did that. I had no idea this also made your catapult shoot longer, but now it doesn't anymore. Huge nerf. Flicker. Max blink rage increased slightly. No longer costs mana. Good. This thing is huge. The fact that you can dispel yourself, a simple dispel every second, or disjoint every, 6 seconds, 4 seconds? Whatever it is. Great item. Spell Prism cooldown reduced slightly. Okay, sad about that a little bit. Illusion Escape bonus damage reduced. Okay. Honestly, I don't think you'll notice that big of a difference. Slight nerfs, but... So, here's the big boys, the big ones, okay? Tier 5 new items. Giant's Ring. 40 strength. 60 movement speed. 60% model size. What? And can walk over any terrain. When standing on top of an enemy, AoE deals 100% of your strength percent. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you serious? Are you serious? So 40 strength. Wow. That's a lot. 60 movement speed is not insignificant. See my Pudge moving right now? See my Pudge moving right now. Oh my god! I love that it makes him bigger and it's got this animation. Oh my god! Okay, so it's like... I mean... Oh my god. Let's see, maxed out. How much damage per second? 76 ticks? 76 damage. On ticks like that, that is... Doesn't affect buildings, does it? I can walk over buildings. It's not hitting the building, though. Okay. Interesting. That is hilarious. I think that's hilarious. Just the fact that it makes you bigger and you lumber around the map with like the dust, with stompy feet going up cliffs is just... Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Okay.
A new age
Book of
begins.
Shadows. 12 all stats. Extra night vision, 400. Target an enemy, ally, or self. Causes the target to become untargetable, but also silenced, muted, and disarmed. For 4 seconds. Applies a basic dispel. Cast range 700 and a cooldown of 25. Invulnerability. Invulnerability or absolute negation. The only thing that it doesn't do, I think, is take them out of the game. Like, they can move around still. It doesn't slow them. But it just makes them a non-factor. Almost like a ghost. Interesting. Interesting. Untargetable. But hold on, they're not invincible. So they can still be hit by AoE. I'm pretty sure. Like, he can't hit me, he's silenced, he's muted, he can't cast anything, he can't hit. He can still be hit by AoE though. Pretty sure. Oh my god, why does this not refresh? Thank you. So, use it on him. He's still getting hit by my rot. Use it every 12 seconds. Use it on yourself. So that you can't be targeted. It's Starkwillow's skill. It's Starkwillow's banishment. Whatever it's called. Shadow Realm. Shadow Realm. It's putting someone into the Shadow Realm, except you don't get an attack coming out of it. But you can use it on an enemy so that they cannot absolutely do anything. Except, unless they have like passives that they're doing. If they have a Radiance, they're still radiancing. But they can't be targeted. So you better well have an AoE. If you're going to use this on a carry hero that's trying to knock you down, you yourself better on your team have an AoE, or else you're just kind of making him a null and void. I think 12 attributes in the night vision. I think it's a very weak tier 5 item. I think it should be a tier 4 item. It's not, well, it's interesting. It's for sure interesting. Can't be used on towers. Use it on a creep to keep them alive. I mean, it's a great escape. As long as it lasts. 4 seconds, I can TP out. I can't even TP out. You can't even TP out while you're in it. Because you're muted, right? So, not a way to just put it on yourself and then TP out. No. Don't screw yourself like that. Yeah, what is it for? I don't know. Or it's almost like a Ghost Scepter, a better Ghost Scepter. It's a better Ghost Scepter. A slightly better Ghost Scepter for yourself. You can put it on teammates, so it's a Ghost Scepter you can apply to teammates. If you're going to use it on an enemy, it better be just to save somebody who's just running away anyway, or you have enough AoE that you can still take them down while they're in it. I mean, you can still stun them with AoE, right? While they're in it. So it's not like it's horrible to use on the enemy, but yeah, interesting. I think it's a bit underpowered for tier 5. Slightly underpowered for tier 5. Alright, is that it? No. So we're cycling out Woodland, Striders, and the Trident. Trident was always kind of a weird one. Am I really going to spend all that gold to get this item? Cool item? Yeah, that was kind of a weird one. Well, balance changes. Ballista now has less damage by 10, 40 to 50. Ex Machina armor increased by 5. Active no longer has a mana cost. Cooldown reduced from 45 to 30. So this would refresh your items, I believe. If I remember that correctly. Searstone now has an active that reveals a target area of the map for 5 seconds. Oh, that is cool. Oh, that is cool. The enemy can see that you're seeing them. But every 70 seconds you can take a peek at some part of the map. Which means you can then also target that part of the map. I don't know. I mean, you can use it in team fights that are heavy in trees, where you don't have the vision advantage. All of a sudden you can say, for 5 seconds, we do have the vision advantage. Or at least we are on par with it. So that's cool. Force Boots, now a unit target ability with 750 cast range. Push range increased from 600 to 750. Cooldown reduced from 9 to 8. Okay. Now a unit target ability with cast range. Was it not that before? Could you only use it on yourself? Now you can use it on everyone? That surprises me, but I guess I don't think that's a huge change. It just makes this more viable for supports, really. Makes it a little more of a utility item. Book of the Dead bonus health increased from 50% to 100%. What? Hold on. This is important. Is this just Book of the Dead? Book of the Dead. No, this is about the... Yeah, this is about the units summoned. This isn't about that you have 50% more health or anything. No. The units that you summon have 100% more health, and so they're tankier. The units that you get out of this are much tankier. Okay. Finally, all stats reduced. Mirror Shield from 20 to 16. Okay, interesting. I don't know why. It's a tier 5 item. You're really gonna nerf it by 4? Is that a big significant change? I don't think so. And then the Desolator bonus attack reduced from 75. So a little less damage on this item. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, that's the item portion of this change. Oh my god, this took me, what, 2 hours and 49 minutes? God. I was going to say I'm going to go through the general updates, but you know what? Read those yourself. I'm going to read them myself. This has been a long video. I hope you enjoyed it. It is only one half. I suspect it is the shorter half because there are a lot of hero changes, including new skills on every single hero. Mostly, right? Or skill changes because of this new Agnum Shard ability. My god. This is gonna take me a lot. Yeah, just to give you some perspective. So you see my scroll bar. That took me, this amount took me 2 hours, almost 3 hours. How long is this next part going to take me? It's going to take me some time. But you know what? I've committed. I'm going to do it. Welcome. Thanks for watching. See you soon.